Hey guys, it's Devlin again. It's been a couple weeks since I last recorded. Last time I said I would make a video about money, and here we are. So, my goal in life is to become a millionaire. Well, actually, not a millionaire. I want to be a fucking billionaire. Or a trillionaire if that starts becoming possible. The reason why is not just for the high score that money gets, but also because of what money can buy you. And I really want a lot out of life. I want a big bat cave in the Alps for where I plan world domination with my dozen sons who each have their own business empires. I want a lot of things, and I have a whole laundry list of them. I don't want to list them out right now, but there's many ways to go about doing that. You can build the bat cave yourself, or you could just get someone to do it for you. Money's very interesting because money, it's not really money, is it? It's the liquefied form of somebody else's time and efforts. You earn $20 by doing, I don't know, Uber or something. That $20 you just spent, or not spent, but earned, is the result of you driving Uber for 1 hour. And that $20 can equate to a lot of things. They're going to equate to $20 worth of gas, which can equal, you can travel, say, 80 to 100, 200 miles even on that. You could buy food, you could buy a few seeds to grow food, whatever. It's very interesting, the fluid nature of money. That's what they call it. They call it fluid, or liquid rather, not fluid. So, what's really interesting about money is that you can reinvest money into earning more money through forms of passive income. And for the past 12 or so years, ever since I got out of high school, I've been thinking of ways to do that. And it started off with like vending machines and shit. I wanted to reinvest my money into. I'm sure everybody listening right now has dabbled in meme coins at some point. I find that to be bullshit. Probably waste more money than you actually get back. You only hear people making it, you only hear the survivors. For every one person that has actually gotten rich off of Bitcoin, there's like a million other people who fucking lost it all. The real way to earn passive income is through proper businesses. And I have three. All three of them, they're under the same portfolio that I run under a single LLC. One is roadside assistance, like tire changes, no gas, fill gas up for you, locked out of your car, and jump starts. The other one I have is dog walking, and the other one after that is trash disposal. The trash disposal one's starting up. I've had the roadside assistance one for a couple of years now, and I'd say every other week it gets me about, I don't know, $80. It's fucking nothing. It used to be a lot more, but Google shut it down. Google shut it down, and they don't even tell me why. It's kind of bullshit. It's still listed on Google, but the account's suspended, and I have a feeling that has killed my visibility very much. I still do get calls though. The dogs one, it's dead. No one has taken advantage of it. No one's called me. No one's filled out the form. Whatever. And the trash one, that's we're working on it. That one still is happening or going to happen. Maybe I don't know. I've been thinking of a few other ways to try and make income off the side. A lot of them have to do with AI ideas. I like to think I have some good ideas. I like to think I'm very understanding of what I am and am not capable of. And I like to think I have a few pretty good ideas that could make me a lot of money. But the problem is, I need a foundation, a stable foundation of money to invest in the infrastructure to make these ideas happen. And even before all that, I have to see if there's demand for these ideas. Like I was an EMT for 5 years. I saw a lot in the nursing industry. There's a lot of money to be made there. Not in the high level institutional level, but on the cutting edge. I'm talking about like the nurses station. And inside those rooms themselves, where you're looking at all those people inside of the beds just rotting away for like 10 years. We talked about that in the other video, didn't we? Anyways, money's great. Just the utility of it. And we talked a lot on this channel about how you need to get out of where you are, both physically, geographically, mentally, spiritually, monetarily, whatever, and fix your life. And in my opinion, the most decisive and expedient way to make that happen is by making a lot of money. Think about it like this: you have 10 problems in your life. You can solve those 10 problems yourself, or you can have someone fix it for you if you just pay them enough. So each problem requires like a different skill set or whatever, like your house is flooding or something, you need to learn plumbing, whatever. Like, wouldn't it just be easier if you worked and you paid a plumber to do it for you? What if your lawn needed mowing and you work an hour, you make $30 an hour, but the lawnmower guy, you pay him $15 an hour? Wouldn't it be more sensible to work your job and have that guy mow your lawn for you? After that hour's done, you'll have a mowed lawn and 15 extra dollars. So, what I'm trying to say is the point here is that most of your problems in life don't have to be solved by you. Your problem, your real problem, is how can I make enough money for all the problems in my life to naturally iron themselves out? And let's be real, like, girls like money. It's not the money itself, it's just the fact that money is an indicator that you got your shit together. You're not just another face in the crowd. So, you do need money. You need a good body and a lot of money to signal that you are a stable man that she looks up to. And your current fucking job at Costco or whatever, Walmart, ain't fucking doing it. There's a lot of ways to make money. A lot of skills that you can get. I have a guy who's a boiler maker. He makes probably $70,000 a year just by making and maintaining boilers. And that's a relatively easy to get into line of work from what he tells me. I was an EMT for 5 years. Now, municipal EMTs working a 911 system, I got paid literal minimum fucking wage. At least in the state of Massachusetts, it was minimum wage. Um, I did work for private EMS, which is essentially just a for-profit type of thing. I got paid upwards of $30 an hour for a couple of organizations. That's pretty cool. But, the big money is within degrees, bachelor degrees, whatever. STEM degrees like computer science. I'm going for computer science. They don't pay a small amount. The problem is everyone's getting one, so now the demand for it has died off, and people could be picky about who they pick now, and they'd rather pick whoever works the least, or not whoever works the least, but whoever asks for the smallest paycheck. If it doesn't go to AI right away. So all of this shit that I just talked about, the common denominator between all of them is you are an employee. And that's not how you're going to make money. It's how you make some money, but it's not how you make serious money. It's not how you make money that makes you stand apart. It's not how you make the type of money that makes you the main character in your own life. Even if you were like a world-class doctor in a specialty that only like 3 fucking people are involved in, it's not going to be enough. So, what is enough? What I think is enough is you need to own your own business. You need to own your own big business or a couple of big businesses and keep building from there. Because a business, it's not a business, it's a kingdom. It's like an artificially crafted fiefdom where you have people working, making money for you in your name. You have people working in your name. Like Jeff Bezos, last time I checked, he has, I think it was either 3,800 or 38,000 people working under him, or 380,000. I don't know which one it was. But a lot of people are working to make money for him hourly, every hour. And it's not going to him personally, but it's going to Amazon stock, which he owns. And That's how you make serious money. You build a business, you use the money from that business to build a bigger business, and then build a bigger business, and then build a bigger business. But you know what people do at the larger levels, like multimillionaires, is they reinvest that money into savings shit. Like Sam Altman, he made an investment in Reddit and made like $1 bajillion off of it, which he then later reinvested, not just into OpenAI, but also various other business ventures. And I believe it was Silicon Valley. And he became rich off of that. He made ChatGPT into the powerhouse it is today. People make a lot of money through investments at that level. But before you could even start thinking about that, you need to make your own business. And like and that's the cool part because you can look at things that need fixing and look around and see no one's actually fixing them. You can fix them. You can make a business that fixes that thing, and people will eventually call for your services. Like street trash pickup, for example. You know, like no one picks up the trash off the streets. Perhaps you could solicit the city or something. Say like, "Hey, my name's Jack. I'll pick up the trash off the streets if you pay me a fee or something." Like, I don't know. That's a horrible example, but the interesting thing about making a business is that if you look around, you'll see tons of things, hundreds of things that need to be serviced, you know, and like it's not just simple things, it's very creative things too. You could like legit fucking just manufacture a problem and then create a business that fixes that problem. I played this game called Anno 2205. It's by Ubisoft. Once upon a time, it's a rather old game. It's like 12 years old now. It's set in the future, and there's this one side mission where you have to build a dam, and there's a problem. The dam provides power that is not necessary. The city does not need the power that the dam would provide. So what do? You artificially create a gigantic demand for power, which justifies creating the dam. Is that scummy? Yeah. But it makes you money. Like it gets the project built. And like there's just so many interesting things that you can do to create money. And the past few years I've come to realize that and I've fallen in love with it. And only after that did I really realize what I can do with it, with money, you know, and like there's a lot of things that would probably get me canceled if I said what I really wanted money for on here. But, you know, there's you as a man have some very primordial monkey brain urges that you want satisfied, and you're not going to get any of that without money. Let's just face the facts. You could say that you don't want them, but you know, if a whole harem of women fell into your lap and said, "Please fuck me," you'd do it in a fucking heartbeat. A lot of people say they wouldn't, but they're lying to themselves. Like we all have these very gross desires that we want to fulfill in life, and we just can't. And the reason why we just can't is because we don't have the money. So, yeah, we all want things, and money's the way to get about it. And the best way to get money is by starting your own business. And that's really the type of man that I'm looking for on here, the type of YouTuber, viewer, whatever you want to call it. Uh, People who originally started out as the neat shut in type of guy. I was never a neat, by the way. I've been working my whole life. But you know, I find myself to sympathize with them immensely. I know where they're coming from. I never got that bad, but I know eventually if I never got out and actually worked, I would be there right now. And thank God I'm not. But anyways, I am looking for like the neat shut-in types of guys, and I want to help. I want to help them get normal. You know, working a job, looking decent, getting out of their room, and helping the cobwebs get out of their brains so they can actually wake up. And then from that point, build a big business, either individually or pool all of our resources together. And from that point, when you have many men working together, that's a rather formidable force. You know, I'm joining the Freemasons in September. Um, I it's totally because I want to eat babies, but like another reason and a secondary reason, secondary to eating babies, is I like the idea of just a bunch of guys in a vacuum. They all look at each other and say, "Let's be friends and make a lot of money." That's kind of what that is. Like the place that I'll be joining, the lodge that I'll be joining, from my early first impressions, it's just a bunch of fathers that just want to barbecue and talk about the town. But I have a hunch that at a higher level, like the actual baby eaters, they probably pool their resources together to make gigantic business ventures happen. And that's where the real money is made. And I dig that. I don't think I can do all of this on my own. I think I need friends. If not powerful friends, then smart friends. There's this guy called Analyzing his name's Nick Pardini. Pardini. He has a YouTube channel called Analyzing Finance with Nick. I love the guy. He's my favorite YouTuber, honestly. He talks about sociology and finance wrapped in one ball. I got to see him in Boston a few months ago. It was really wonderful, um, alongside a bunch of Harvard students. So I've rubbed shoulders with Harvard grads. It's great. I'm smart. But he talks about I I I found him through his Pearl Drift videos, which seem to be really taking off. Pearl Drift is essentially like a low class behavior that keeps you low class. What's a pearl behavior? A pearl behavior is owning shit like a fucking pit bull or an expensive car that you can't pay for that has a sky high interest rate. And I have pearl behavior. I spent a lot of money on food. I don't prepare food. I buy a lot of snacks. And I used to buy a lot of alcohol. I don't do that much anymore. I still do a little bit, but when someone yells at me, I yell back. Shit like that keeps me in the ghetto ass city that I am now. And there's things that he says that you can do to rehab yourself from it. One thing is by actually wearing high class clothing. When I say high class, I'm talking about like a dress shirt, dress pants, like just standard outside. Like a suit and tie. Just if only just so that you can feel like a higher vibration person, if that makes sense. And I just find that to be interesting because there's money and then there's the money mindset. Becoming the type of person who wants to create a business. Because it's like we have an employee mindset bred into us from the moment we're essentially born. We're told to go to school, we're told to go to college, not to learn, but to get a degree, and to get a degree to get a job. It's all about a job. And it's awful. It's actually I call it an aberration of the human condition, the 9 to 5. It's not normal in the slightest. We're monkeys. We're supposed to be outside having sex, eating bananas, and running from tigers. We're not meant to be inside of a cubicle or inside of a private ambulance taxiing people around. It's utterly just soul crushing. But the problem is, people believe that's what their life is supposed to be, and it's fucking not. You're not supposed to be doing this. It's slavery. And you know what another word for slavery is? Hostage. It's a hostage situation, but it's worse than a hostage situation, isn't it? Because hostages don't have to work. You're being forced to work. So you got to get out of it. You got to get out of the 9 to 5. You got to get out of wage slavery. And the only way to get out is by making enough money so you can reinvest it into an actual business that you can use to build a bigger business, which you can use to build a bigger business, and then eventually become a billionaire at some point. It takes 20 years. It takes 20 years of starvation, privation, humiliation, but you'll get there. I had a partner, a paramedic partner. His name was Eric. Eric has been a paramedic longer than I have been alive. I'm 30 now. He is somewhere in the neighborhood of 70. He's been a paramedic for 40 years. During September 11th, he was in Boston doing calls. And I fucking hated the guy. He was miserable, and he made sure everyone knew how miserable he was. We never really talked. The only one of the only few conversations we actually had was at Boston Children's Hospital. We were dropping off a kid who had his teeth ripped out because they got hit with a baseball. And there was this nurse that he knew. They had known each other for over 30 years. And she was nice as hell. She was very nice. She gave us like a really good uh, Colombian coffee or something, Argentinian coffee. And it was a fantastic coffee. She was all smiles. It was great. And I'm like, oh, you guys know each other. And they say, yeah, we know each other. And Eric and I, we get inside the ambulance after the call's over, and I say, "So you've known her for 30 years?" And he goes off on a small monologue. He's a very quiet guy, man, a few words. He goes off on a small monologue and says, Devlin, I've seen everything, gone to every call, seen everything that there is, gone to every hospital, talked to every nurse, seen every ambulance, whatever. I've seen it all." And then at the very end of that whole thing, he says, "And I wish I could forget all of it." This man not only hates his job, he has become genuinely sorrowful that he has spent his entire life working it. And don't get me wrong, it's a good job. Being a paramedic is a good job. I'm an EMT, I'm not a paramedic, but it's still a good job. He doesn't work just private EMS. He's on a rather well-to-do town's fire department in central Massachusetts. And a fire medic is a hell of a job. It's a wonderful job, lots of responsibility, very good pay, with wonderful, fantastic opportunity, not just to move up that chain, but also go federal. You could go, God, what's it called? I forgot, but there's a lot of federal opportunities there as well. That's a good job, and not just the job itself, but the camaraderie that something like that affords is great. I am going to very much miss bullshitting with my partners and other people in the same uniform at the hospital sally port after we finish a call. That's going to be one of my core memories of my life. When I'm on my deathbed, I'm going to look back and miss those. But what's that going to do for you? What's that going to do to help you get to where you want to be? You see, camaraderie is great. Brotherhood is great. Brotherhood in a fellow firefighter, a fellow police officer, soldier, marine, whatever. Those are fantastic things. And they're one of God's greatest creations. But what's that going to do for you 20 years from now? If they didn't pay you, you would not be there. You are stuck in your job. You have deep questions to life. You have very deep hungers for things that you can't get right now. And you're not going to get them if you stay where you are. I know all of you hate your job, but let's pretend you liked your job for a second. Your job's not going to fucking help you. And they would fire you if they thought it could save their skins. And you know that, but it's one thing to know that, and it's another thing to know that. And I think at probably pushing 30, we'll all find that out at some point. So things like camaraderie, brotherhood in the fire and police and EMS services, they're fantastic, but I think they create an illusion of this is what I am supposed to do with my life. And a lot of people are very positive that they were born to be firefighters, they were born to be police officers, and I'm not going to fight them on that. But I can't help but think just how much you are restricting yourself out of a lot of things in life. Like, I don't know the pay for a firefighter. A municipal small town one, probably not much. State troopers, I know they get paid a lot for the construction details. But that's not big money. That's not seven-figure money. That's not I can buy a yacht money. That's not I can go on vacation every other week money. And by the way, vacations, fuck vacations. Like, don't live for the next vacation. That if you get a week of vacation, that's the other. I don't, how many weeks is in a year? I don't know, but all the other weeks of the year are utter torture. Great, what a great trade-off. Getting sucked into what society defines as a lifestyle, a job dressed as a lifestyle, is suicide. Slow suicide. Wrecks your soul, sucks you dry, and leaves you depleted at the end of your life. And you'll have never lived. You'll never got to go to where you wanted to go. You never were able to create the infrastructure necessary to have a bajillion kids. You'd never got to see the adoration of a beautiful woman as she realizes that you are the linchpin that holds the whole kingdom together. You'll never got to see the hope and promise in the eyes of the people that worked under you because you know that you are responsible for their paychecks, their livelihoods. You'll never have lived everything you wanted to live, have all of your questions answered. All you got to do was clock in and clock out and bullshit about how bad your boss is with your friends. Quite the exchange. To our knowledge, we only live once. I personally believe in God, and whether I'm a Christian or not, I'm not sure, but I do believe the God of Abraham is God. Islam, Christianity, Judaism are all the same flavors of the same thing. And, I could draw a lot of conclusions with Eastern religions, with Western religions, the Abrahamic religions with the Eastern religions. It's all the same thing. Be good. But to our understanding, we only live once. And not only do we only live once, but when you die, not only does your sensory experience of life end, the past no longer matters. The future no longer matters. And of course, the present does not matter either. Everything that you enjoyed or hated leading up to that point no longer matters. And all the things that you have put into place to unfold after you pass, your legacy, your child's legacies, stop mattering. And that's terrifying. And you cannot spend this limited time you have alive working for somebody else. As a matter of fact, you cannot spend it working at all. The fact that you have to is an utter aberration of life. It's all an illusion. And you need to get out. You need to get out of the matrix. The good news is it's never been more possible than now. The bad news is I don't think it's going to be possible forever. Right now, there's things like ChatGPT. I built all three of my businesses with ChatGPT. I registered an LLC, blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to continue to use it to build up even further until eventually I can build my own ChatGPT. Because, to be completely honest with you, ChatGPT is an absolutely, utterly foam padded corporate. It's a lawyer in a box. It's utter gay horseshit, and I hate using it for that reason because it thinks it's better than you. But it's a jack of all trades, and I have no choice but to use it. up until the moment where I can build my own and finally be fucking free of it. But my message to you is that it is possible to make all the money that you want in life and then use that money as a vehicle to experience all that you want in life. It's possible, and I want you to do it with me. I want to do it with you. I want to team up with you and figure this out. But first, we got to stop you from being a goblin. We got to get you out of your room, don't we? So, that's it. See ya.